Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. We have quite a bit of things to go through today actually. The biggest news is from Simon Stone. He has tweeted earlier on in the day about Mark Cucurella. This is his tweet, you can see on the screen. Brighton are aware of rumours concerning Mark Cucurella and Man City, but they're in a very strong bargaining position. They have no interest in selling, and so it would take something pretty sizable to get him. We are Simon Stone, so he's a tier one journalist. So I mean, we have actually discussed about this, right? The moment Brighton sold Bissouma, it became evident that they would be in a very strong position. They would go to the extent of demanding a much higher price. Maybe if we had swooped in for Cucurella a bit earlier than Spurs went for Bissouma, maybe we would have got a fair deal for Cucurella. You never know. But Bissouma had just 1 year on his contract and all of that stuff. But I do think that maybe we should have acted a bit more faster in the Cucurella transfer. But then I think we were having our hands full with Calvin Phillips as well. There were a couple of clubs interested in Calvin Phillips. Now the question is, if we don't get Cucurella this season, what will happen? Should we go for another fullback? Or is it an absolute necessity that we get Cucurella? I know the options here are maybe Zinchenko can play on the left. If Zinchenko, I think if Cucurella doesn't arrive, then Zinchenko doesn't leave. I think it's as simple as that. Because today I've seen a lot of reaction on social media that fans are concerned. Fans are like, we should go for David Raum. We should sign a fullback this transfer window and all. But if leaving all the emotion aside, if you just look at the situation, I think yes, if we get Cucurella, it's like I'm a great proponent of us getting Cucurella because it would unlock that left hand side, something Pep has never done from 2016 till he joined till now. So Cucurella would provide us with something different going on the outside, playing against a narrow block team, unlocking those part the bus defenses and all of that. But it's not doom and gloom because Cancelo can play there, Zinchenko can play there. I think we can wait. Actually, we can wait for another year because these guys. The thing what is happening now is Simon Stone has earlier, it's not Simon Stone, sorry, Sam Lee has confirmed that the deal for Raheem Sterling is almost done. Early on in his podcast, he was telling round about for 45, 50. So Brighton know that we have 50. We have 45 from the Gabriel Jesus sale. So we have a lot of money. This transfer window, especially our net spend, is almost in the negative if Sterling gets sold. So I think Brighton will I think if we get Cucurella, we'll end up paying 55, 60 to Brighton. So the thing again here is, do we need him? I would absolutely not want David Raum here. It's because the same thing why I didn't want Aitnouri when the rumors came out. It's the same reason why Angelino didn't function well in the system of wing back. David Raum is potentially a wing back. Wing backs find it difficult to adapt to Pep Guardiola's system because being a wing back means you have three defenders behind you, a midfield, a central midfielder supporting you. So literally, you know that defensively you're sound. That's what Angelino had it in him. He was not so good in one-on-one situations. But if you're playing as a fullback in a Pep Guardiola system, one-on-one defending, that is your bread and butter. It does, yes, attacking is important, but you will be defined in the team. Your place in the team will be defined by those one-on-one positions, so one-on-one duels. So I don't think David Raum isn't the best in one-on-one duels. So I don't think we should go for David Raum. I think my stand on this is if we don't get Cucurella this season, which it seems we will not, because I think a lot of players are reporting for teams next week or so on in 10 days. So we should just stay put. Let Zinni stay for an year more. Maybe look at the youth setup if someone is coming. We go into the season with Zinni, with Cancelo, with Walker, and potentially a Jan Kuto, coming from loan and something like that. I think so. The important thing is we should not go chasing after Zinchenko actually. And also another piece of news is Football Pix is here. Hey, Football Pix, how are you? City Extra is saying Neymar to City may happen. Yeah, Football Pix, I've actually seen those rumors Neymar to City. I mean, first thing you have to understand is Neymar is finding a club. Neymar is finding a club which will pay him those wages. So in this financial situation, what is the club that can offer him the wage which is looking for? Of maybe a Newcastle if they want to go crazy, and a City, that's all, or maybe a Man United if they don't do anything. So the agents of these players, what they do is they want to hype up the price. That's why they just tend to link players with the clubs. It happened with Ronaldo last summer, right? Jorge Mendes was looking for a club for his new client, and he wanted Ronaldo to go to United, but he used us. So I don't take much thing look into these rumors of Neymar, especially because you just think it doesn't make sense in a lot of ways. In a financial way, it doesn't make sense because we have already made a big investment in terms of Haaland, right? Agent fees, the wages we are paying him, and all of that. Second, the personality of the player, Neymar, Pep Guardiola, someone who is a bit injury prone, who doesn't look after himself as well, especially now, who doesn't like to work hard. Do you think Neymar playing on that right wing will run up and down and support us fullback? Never, never in a million years. If Neymar comes, Pep Guardiola will leave, and that could just be a disaster for City. So I think Neymar to City will never happen. Before Neymar to City happens, Pep leaves. I think it's as simple as that. JS says, "Hey JS, how are you doing? Good evening, mate." Mahrez extension is very close. Yes, that's the next thing we are actually talking about. The news just came today evening, I think at 3 or 4 by Sam Lee. So Sam Lee says Man City have offered Riyad Mahrez a short-term contract extension with negotiations between the two parties having advanced recently. Pep Guardiola absolutely does not want to lose the player. There is optimism that an agreement will be reached. I mean, the last sentence is very important. Pep Guardiola does not absolutely want to lose the player. There's a reason for that. There's a reason Pep kept Fernandinho for 2 more years when he could have got a very good CM 2 years ago. So the reason is, I think Pep wants to transition Cole Palmer into the team, and for that he realizes that Mahrez is important. So this season will be a transition thing for Mahrez. Pep will tell Mahrez that don't expect a lot of minutes this season. You'll be in and out of games. I'll start you in the big games, but you will have to share your game time with someone like a Cole Palmer and maybe a Kaiki just to help them settle in the team. And next season, I think, is just like how Fernandinho did to Rodri. First season Rodri was erratic. Fernandinho played many games. Next season Rodri broke through. It will same thing will happen with Cole Palmer. And to help Palmer in that, I think Riyad Mahrez, one of the best wingers in that position, is absolutely essential. So good decision by City. Fantastic decision by Pep to keep him. Football Quick says we don't have a right-footed winger except Grealish. But does it actually does it actually matter? Football which not having a right-footed winger, especially. I think Julian Alvarez is right-footed, right? If I'm not wrong, and Julian Alvarez can play on the right-hand side. So yeah, we have finally got a right-footed winger. But I don't think it actually matters as much in the Pep system because we are not like a traditional team. We tend to play fluidly. Our play is all about positions, occupy those half spaces and stuff. So when you're doing that, I don't necessarily think having that the foot of the winger necessarily matters because someone is going to occupy that half space, whether you want to cut inside or not. That is the secondary thing. Jesus, I guess Mahrez will be a good teacher to Palmer. Exactly, JS, exactly. Just like Fernandinho was a good teacher to Rodri, people are praising Rodri. He's a world class DM now. He's a fantastic, he's the best DM in the world right now. But you just go back 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, people were like blasting Rodri, all ends up. They were like telling Rod why. I mean, this guy can never replace Fernandinho in a million years and all of that. And look at what Rodri has become. 60, I mean, not even 60, 80% of it has to be attributed to Fernandinho and Pep's coaching. What Rodri has really become today. Asif says, "Hey Asif, how are you doing? Hi bro, good evening. We need to focus on strengthening the midfield in the wake of Gundo contract will expire by next season and KDB's replacement. I think we need to focus on midfielders by this season end." Actually, this was a great cause of concern if Bernardo Silva left because if Bernardo Silva left, then Gundogan, injury prone. We literally didn't have a midfield. Now with Bernardo staying, I think we can actually manage the midfield. See, with Bernardo staying, you have De Bruyne, you have Bernardo, you have Calvin Phillips coming in, you have James McAtee settling down into the squad. I think the situation is a much better thing, and also I think the replacement of Gundogan is James McAtee. There's absolutely no doubt about it. I think Pep will do what he did to Riyad Mahrez this season. I mean, in this contract extension, Pep will tell Gundogan to stay one more year or 2 more years and teach James McAtee and be a mentor to James McAtee. And also, it's a two-way thing for Gundogan. I'm sure Gundogan will not leave next season after the expiry of his contract. The reason is Gundogan is doing coaching badges, as a lot of you are well aware of. So he would need that experience of Pep as well, sitting in the dressing room, him being a mentor to James McAtee. It's all happening, guys. And senior play. I think we are transitioning into a new era, an era where our academy youth are almost taking over into the first team in one of the most beautiful ways possible. They have not only learned from Pep, not only learned from the academy, but they're also learning from some of the best players in their position. Fernandinho was teaching Rodri and Romeo Lavia, Mahrez to Palmer, Gundogan and KDB to McAtee, Foden learned under David Silva and De Bruyne. This is one of the best transitions of youth I can actually remember in a long, long time how a club has done it. A lot of clubs struggled in this. Liverpool struggled for 20 years, right, to get this transition right. Arsenal from the 2005-6 season are still struggling till now. Chelsea struggled a bit. Then Chelsea always buy players, so that's a different conversation. United are struggling till now for the last 8-9 years. So this transition, people might underestimate how we are bringing the youth in, but it's very difficult, and always the trick has been this, guys. In football, many clubs have not been able to do it, to stay competitive but still also bring your youth into the team. Many clubs in history will tell you, history has the graveyard of clubs who tried to do these transition by staying competitive and have failed. And City have shown in a long time, after long time, that it is possible if you can actually concentrate on it. Jodel underscore 369 is it? Hey Jodel, how are you? Says we have to remember that we need to have someone with the directness of Rahim if we leave. Sometimes the directness helps. Exactly, especially against low blocks, that directness, just pick up the ball, run at defenders, it just unnerves them. Actually, Cole Palmer has that directness. Cole Palmer has the directness. Julian Alvarez has the directness, and Julian Alvarez has pace as well. He has pace to burn. Maybe not as much of Sterling, but he has a considerable amount of pace with close control. With close control, better than Sterling. So I think Kaiki and Palmer, I would say, are someone who are well capable of replacing Sterling in terms of just that pure directness. Kaiki, I would say, and also Julian Alvarez, guys. That his directness is really underestimated. Jay says your best team for City next season. Mine is Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Laporte, Cucurella, Rodri, KDP, Mahrez, Haaland, Foden. Yes, in my best team, yes, Cucurella is there. Rodri, KDP, Bernardo, yes. Uh, I think instead of Mahrez in my very best team, if I'm playing Liverpool in a title clinching match, I think I'll have Julian Alvarez in place of Riyad Mahrez. That's the only change I would say. But again, you would say the experience of Mahrez and all. But Julian Alvarez, guys, the guy can go both ways. The guy can shoot from outside the box. I mean, I think I should not say this. I think it will be a bit controversial, but I think Julian Alvarez is, I know he's unproven, but he's almost at that level of Riyad Mahrez with the way he can go. JS says Bellingham is a good option, and I guess his signing depends on two factors. The first being Pep extension, and second thing Haaland impression on City. Yes, we'll just talk about Jude Bellingham a bit later on the show, JS, but that's a valid point. I've actually noted it down. Hey Vinay, how are you doing? Vinay says rumor of internet breaking signing could be Neymar to City, Sterling to Chelsea football club done according to Athletic UK. That's just the PR. I think Vinay. Even at this stage, I can't imagine Neymar being at City. For what will he be at City? What is it that he will bring that we don't have? Okay, individually Neymar can win you games. Individually he can dribble past players, but Is that Neymar who was part of the MSN still there? Is that Neymar a player? He's still there? No. His levels have incredibly dropped. The fitness of Neymar will not be there. He's not a pressing player like Pep Guardiola would want. I mean, Pep Guardiola struggled to accept Kun Aguero, who's a much better presser, much better work rate than Neymar into the team. This is just rumors. I think PSG want the player to be sold. The director Luis Campos has said that he doesn't want Neymar there. So Mbappe also maybe doesn't want Neymar in the project. They want him to be sold. Who is the club who can afford him? That's why they're linking him to us. It's just PR spin, I think. I think a Ferran Soriano or someone should, or a Sam Lee or a Simon Stone someone should come out and give a clarification. I think. I hope we get a clarification by tomorrow at least. From Fabrizio, but would you guys want Neymar at City? Never at all. It would just ruin the harmony in the dressing room, I think. Football Fix is delicious there. JS is your all-time favorite City player. It has to be David Silva. Has to be David Silva, El Mago, David Silva. The way he drifts into spaces, the way he's always ahead of the game, the way he makes football look like he's painting an art on the field more than anything else. The way he almost looks like a ghost. No defender can man mark him. The speed of thought in the mind. I mean, when David Silva was coming to the Premier League, Mancini wanted him, but all of the scouts were telling the guy is weak, the guy is not physically up there with the Premier League, but the guy has come. Mancini held on and he's become one of the greats of the Premier League. Just for the way he enjoys the game, drifting and gliding in spaces. I like David Silva, fantastic player to watch. Football critics is probably Neymar with an anchor role for Foden and KDB backup. That is another thing. Football tweets with Neymar. Okay, you bring him in, but would Neymar be happy to sit on the bench? Is Neymar a player who will not create problems sitting on the bench? Would he not disturb the team spirit? All of these factors. See, City as a team, okay, we have brilliant players like De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva and all, but always the whole of the city, the team spirit of the club has always been bigger than any of the player, and that's the reason why even though we were even though we were 2-0 down to Aston Villa, we came back and won. It's just the spirit that helps, and Neymar will break that spirit. That's what I worry. Neymar, leave all the economic sense. Neymar will be an absolute tarnish to that spirit. Vinay says this was from Blue Moon Forum. I don't know if it's reliable, but in terms of business and popularity, City may still consider. But do you think we need a waning player in terms of PSG tried that model, right? Popularity to bring revenue by signing Neymar. What happened to PSG? Didn't work out as a whole. Their finances also got a hit. PSG will claim shared sales and all, but according to reliable reports, their finances were hit actually. So I mean, in terms of shared sales, we are having Haaland. A lot of shirts will be sold. Foden, the local player, Stockport, Iniesta. I mean, it doesn't make sense from a business point of view as well. Jay says, I guess Neymar will be happy too on the bench. To be fair, he likes to take a lot of rest. You're right, JS, but more than bench, he would be even more happier to be on a hospital bed. I think Neymar can be bought in terms of increase. City can tie up with the local health center, and Neymar can be bought as an ambassador to that local health center. Neymar, they're here in this health center for 80% of the time. So, as a sporting thing, Neymar doesn't make sense. I would be a bit worried if you sign Neymar because, again, guys. This is the reason why I didn't want Saka. This is the reason why I would not want Rafael Leao or someone to replace Sterling. The reason being that development of youth. It would just bring back the development of youth for 2 more years. The entire decade leading up to today has been with the perspective of a project of creating a team that was almost like a gold standard for youth development. We almost wanted to compete with the likes of La Masia and stuff. That was the whole dream a decade ago. It took almost a decade, slowly pumping money into the academy. And right now, when your entire thing is ready, why do you want to spoil it with brats like Neymar and all? And also, guys, remember we avoided a bullet like this a few years ago, right? Alexis Sanchez, almost the same age as Neymar. Then he was almost, and Sanchez was in a better shape that season for Arsenal. What happened? Sanchez, he just dropped off. So you do not know, and Sanchez wasn't as injury prone as well. So you absolutely do not know when these kind of players who don't take care of themselves as much, who have played in non-competitive league, farmers league till now, you don't know when they'll just drop off. So we should look at Sanchez as an example, and we should just refrain from this Neymar thing. Football Quicks is what about Barella next season or Nkunku if Bernardo is trying to leave again next season? Football Quicks, Nkunku is a striker, I guess, right? And I don't think we need strikers, especially with Liam Delap as a backup, and and we have Julian Alvarez who can potentially play as a striker. Haaland is there, so I don't think we need Nkunku. Barella is an interesting one. Barella would be a perfect replacement for Bernardo Silva if Bernardo Silva leaves in the worst case scenario. The reason being, Barella is from an Italian league. The way he sees, the space, especially from a defensive point of view, the way he reads the game defensively, I think is one of the best in the world. He's in the top 3 4 in the world, Barella. But I doubt that. When was the last time an Italian player moved to the Premier League? I know Jorginho moved, but generally Italian players they see someone like a Juventus, or they tend to be there. So I don't expect Barella to move. I think Barella is at Inter Milan right now, right? If I'm not wrong. So I think Barella will remain there. Football Quiz says Sheikh Mansour eventually wanted academy system. Yes, exactly. Otherwise, up 2008 takeover, right? Let's compare it with the takeover by Roman Abramovich. Roman Abramovich 2003-4 takeover. Just buy all the best players. Chelsea won the league next season. What did Sheikh Mansour do? Bring players by increasing small quality year on year. Mancini, then Pellegrini, then Pep Guardiola. He pumped almost close to $1 billion into the academy system. With $1 billion, we could have easily won the Champions League, right? Long ago, if we would have bought all of those stars and stuff, right? No, it was all about, the best thing about our owners is they always wanted to make the club sustainable. That is something which I don't see any of the owners do in the footballing world right now. For everyone, it's about just profits, revenue. But if City owners leave us today, still will be in the same position, will be able to generate revenues in the same way like we have been doing. So we are in a stronger position sustainably more than anything else. So that's what academy system is, the key to that sustainability, because then you don't have to buy players from outside. Vinay says, personally, I don't like the India Felix to City. Yes, exactly. I mean, I don't like Neymar. Rafael Leao, 110 million pounds, right? That was the price quoted. Okay, he's an upgrade on Sterling. I saw him play. I saw a couple of clips, highlights on YouTube and stuff. Leao is very good. He's worth, 110 million pounds to play, but at what cost? It will again be at the cost of disrupting your academy. It will again be at the cost of bringing the club back 5 years back. It will be at the cost of causing an economic disturbance in the club, right? You spend 110 million pounds. It's not. It takes your toll somewhere in the budget, in the wages to some players, in terms of transfer activity next season. So Rafael, even Felix. I mean, this Felix to City rumor has to be the biggest joke of the transfer window season. I don't know which crap of a journalist put it out. It's one of the most crappiest thing that I don't know how it has even come. Felix to City, that rumor, it spread for a while, 2 to 3 days last week, I think, because there was no way. We bought Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Cole Palmer can play that false nine role. So where will Felix play? Felix literally plays in the half spaces in the role of Otto Bruyne, in that role. So I mean, you are not going to drop to Bruyne, right? So football fixes, but Neymar at Barca was different, and we play the same way as well. He would be disciplined to uh, Neymar at Barca. If you actually saw, he yes, he was disciplined, but he didn't, especially, I mean, when Neymar was there in that MSN, Pep Guardiola had left by then, and Luis Enrique was the coach and stuff. Even then, Neymar didn't run back as much. He ran back more than he does at PSG. But all of the shit was done by the fullbacks even back then. Literally in MSN, especially, you could see that all the three were up front. And there was a point of time, especially under Ernesto Valverde, I think, none of them were doing any work. Yes, Barca won the Champions League playing that style and stuff, but they had an incredibly hard-working midfield. You see who played in the midfield back then: Ivan Rakitic, Busquets, incredibly hard-working players. They just ran their socks off for these three players. So I don't think Pep will allow that. When I say sad that Sam Edozie left for Leverkusen, he was our Leroy Sané. Yes, yes. Sam, I remember it was last preseason, right? Sam Edozie literally scored goals in every preseason match he played. That season, I thought Pep has no chance. When Pep started him in the Community Shield as well. Pep said that I don't have any chance with this youngster. He's scoring goals. He has to start if he keeps on scoring goals. And he was near the first team as well, but injury stuck, and all of that happened. And I think two players this season, Liam Delap and Sam Edozie. Delap was interesting for me because we didn't have a striker, and I thought Delap would get more chances. And Edozie also, I thought Willish needed to adapt. On the right hand side, Sterling a bit erratic. I thought Edozie would get chances, but again, injuries just stalled his career. We just wish him all the best in Leverkusen, and you never know, he might do well in Leverkusen and he could come back as well. But Edozie is someone I would definitely keep a watch on, because the way he dribbles inside, it reminds me of Riyad Mahrez, actually, his close control and stuff. JSK says, I want Joao Felix rather than Neymar. JSK, this is an interesting one. I know it's not possible at all, but just imagine in a parallel world, we get Joao Felix as well. Then what Pep can do is, in matches where he needs a striker, he can play Haaland. And then in matches where he needs a false nine from a tactical point of view, he can play Joao Felix. Joao Felix, I thought even 3 years ago when we were linked to him, I thought Joao Felix was a dream of a Pep Guardiola signing. If Joao Felix comes to City, the way Felix occupies those half spaces, especially, it's really similar to what Messi does. Especially his vision of occupying those half spaces, his vision of bringing momentum into the attack, driving forward and stuff. It would have been a perfect match, but it was a strange decision for him to go to Atletico Madrid of all places. He should fire his agent as soon as possible. That was one of the worst decisions of his career, I think. Vinay says rumors say Pep likes Liao, and Felix will fit in Pep's system. Liao rumors are also interesting. I think just the agent of Liao wants to check which club can afford, and especially in the English Premier League, because Rafael Liao has won the Champions League. Sorry, has won the Serie A title. He has won the Scudetto with AC Milan. Rafael Liao is almost being touted as the star of the Serie A. Serie A doesn't have any big players left, right? Ronaldo, after Ronaldo left, star of Serie A. AC Milan wants to project him as almost in the stature of the next Kaka and stuff like that. Why would a player leave a team like that where he's a main man and come to a team where you're not even guaranteed to start every day, where you have to learn a completely different system? Okay, your learning curve will be more, okay, you'll grow into a better player, but I don't think Rafinha at this stage will move into a new league, especially because it's so comfortable over there. Vishnu is here. Hey Vishnu, how are you doing? He says, advance happy birthday, King Kevin. Yes, many happy returns of the day to King Kevin, and I think he'll be crowned the top assist maker in the Premier League this season. I think he might be crowned that by the halfway of the Premier League season easily. I think Erling Haaland. We will know this season what kind of a crap that Raheem Sterling did actually, converting 1 in 3 chances laid on by Kevin De Bruyne. JSK says Jorge Mendes is the agent of both Liao and Felix. And there is this thing with Jorge Mendes, this it's true as well. People say that Jorge Mendes generally every summer, even if his client has a chance of moving or doesn't have a chance of moving, he goes around the clubs and he opens discussions about his clients, not negotiations, just discussions. Would you like to have this guy here? Would you like to have one of my clients, Liao, here? How would Liao fit in at City? He just wants to find the best deals for his clients, and he just wants to know the prices. So I think, and also you observe most of Jorge Mendes clients are the people who get most of these press reports, right? That he is linked to this club, he's linked to that club, and Mendes intelligently uses it in terms of increasing the salary of the clients and things like that. Kudos to Mendes actually. And actually, Ferran Soriano actually said something interesting yesterday in a press release. He said that Champions League is not an obsession, but he said something interesting because people say that all of the city's bosses say this, that Champions League is not an obsession. He said that quote, Champions League is also about luck. He went on to say that Madrid had a great team in the 80s and 90s but couldn't win the Champions League. Madrid had Galacticos in the mid 2000s, 1995 to 2005 era. You had Zinedine Zidane, Guti, everyone playing there. But Madrid couldn't win the Champions League. They won it once, I think. The reason is luck plays a huge part. One bad match and you're out of that competition. And so he said Premier League is the bread and butter actually. And now we'll discuss about that. Jude Bellingham. I mean, what do you say about Jude Bellingham? Yes, we have signed Calvin Phillips. Do you think that Jude Bellingham is over? Do you think that our interest, because the rumors actually started yesterday, a lot of rumors that Liverpool are in the pole position to sign Jude Bellingham now, because with the signing of Calvin Phillips, City feel that there is no space to add in the midfield. So what do you guys think about this? Is Jude Bellingham actually surplus to our requirements? I mean, it is very interesting because we signed Calvin Phillips, but bringing in a Jude Bellingham, it can surely happen if a Bernardo Silva actually leaves. Then we'll have no choice but to have Jude Bellingham. But imagining everything stays the same, Bernardo Silva is staying, he agrees a new contract. So what will happen to Jude Bellingham? I think Jude Bellingham will go to Liverpool. The thing here is it's not Jude Bellingham coming to us, not coming to us, because I'm actually happy in a way because Jude Bellingham coming to us. I know Romeo Lavia plays a different role, but it would potentially close out the shop for some of our youth prospects, especially someone like a Romeo Lavia who could develop into a good box to box player, Oscar Bob who kind of plays that role as well. So I don't actually think, even though he's a world class player, is gonna be the next superstar. I don't think Jude Bellingham is an absolute necessity for us. But the only problem here is going to your direct rival, is going to your most fiercest rival in the near past. So Liverpool with Jude Bellingham, that would be interesting. Fabinho, Jude Bellingham, they want, and Liverpool interestingly have a space available as well. With Jordan Anderson getting old, Anderson is 30, 31, right? They have not replaced Gini Wijnaldum. Jordan Anderson is getting old. So I think Liverpool have more of an incentive to offer Jude Bellingham guaranteed first team football. If Bellingham comes to City, do you think he plays day in and day out? Your best midfield is Rodri, Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne. Whom do you see sitting out on a regular basis? None of them. So I mean, keeping all this, I think Jude Bellingham will not come to us. He might go to whatever club. Liverpool is looking the likeliest, and also you can't just fit in all the players, stuff all the players because you don't want them to go to a rival. Because in the past we have seen teams doing that, and that just upsets the team balance. So I would not want us to do that with Jude Bellingham. And honestly, seeing the availability of first team football, it's from a Jude Bellingham perspective, I think he will go to Liverpool for sure. JSK says, by the way, City will be offering 300,000 per week to Bernardo, contract till 2027. I guess Barca has no chance now. I don't think they can even pay him more than 100,000. Not even 100,000 JSK. I think they'll ask him to take a pay cut even in that 100,000 pounds as well. I mean, the sale of Sterling is directly related to this. Because there's another thing I was actually noticing. I was actually stunned with that. I didn't notice this. Sterling has been paid 300,000 pounds, and Bernardo Silva has just been paid 150,000 pounds till this season. I mean, how is that fair actually? How is that fair that Sterling is actually getting more? I didn't realize this, that Sterling was on such high wages. But now that Sterling is actually going, so I think we can free that 300,000 pounds of Raheem Sterling, and we can add another 150,000 pounds for Bernardo Silva. What a stellar window we are having. Gabriel Jesus fees will be, wages will be free, but Sterling's wages will be free. I think we can even give 350 to Bernardo Silva. He deserves to be in that world class bracket of Kevin De Bruyne, of Erling Haaland. He deserves to get the wages like them actually, because he's world class. Like in his position, box to box, I think Bernardo Silva is world class. Just like how Haaland is in his position and De Bruyne is in his position. So there's nothing wrong in it. Vinay says Bellingham's idol is Stevie G, and I hope Bellingham does another Stevie G and hands us the title somewhere down the line. You know, that slip, Dembaba, that's just, I even put it on replay sometimes and see. I was feeling a bit tensed, before the last match against Villa previous season, and I just put on that slip for 2 times, 3 times. Dembaba goal, Stevie G, and by the way, Stevie G has slipped, let the trophy slip twice, I think. Once with that slip against Dembaba and Chelsea, and one yesterday 2-0 up, and he just let it slip. So it's good if he's an idol of Stevie G. He'll do more good to us. Vinay says second into Fab. Nunes didn't accept offer from Wolves. Well, we can. Ruben Neves didn't accept offer from Wolves. Well, we can have him for 40 million. Ah, but Vinay, Ruben Neves, I think if we didn't buy Calvin Phillips, then we could have looked for Ruben Neves actually. But now since we've got Calvin Phillips, and also I think if you have to decide between a Calvin Phillips and a Ruben Neves actually, I think it will be Calvin Phillips, because there were rumors coming out today that Pep wanted Calvin Phillips, especially because he thinks Calvin Phillips can play as a centre back, he can play as a single holding DM, he can play in that box to box role which Bernardo Silva plays. So literally it's almost three roles. I think Pep specifically wanted a multi-role player, and who could have played that multi-role? Not a Ruben Neves. And I think this is one of the reasons why we didn't go for Matthews Nunes as well. That Nunes could only predominantly play in that CM role. He couldn't play a centre back and DM as well. So I think Calvin Phillips makes a lot of sense like that. Vishnu says, I'm pretty sure that Jude will join City in the future because the company of five English main players and presence of both Haaland and Pep will attract the lad. Therein lies the problem also, Vishnu, because you said five English main players and presence of Haaland. Where is the space in the team? There is no guarantee that Jude Bellingham will start day in and day out. Like I was saying earlier, Rodri, Bernardo, and De Bruyne, right? With James McAtee potentially there, with Phil Foden potentially looking to gain more exposure into the midfield, with the Romeo Lavia looking to break through. I think it's actually more packed than you can imagine. There, especially the midfield region at City. So Jude Bellingham would think, and you look at Liverpool, the situation at Liverpool, their midfield is almost threadbare. There's no one. Henderson old, Thiago old, above 30, Gini Wijnaldum they didn't replace. There's no one in the midfield for Liverpool if you just look at it. So I think the reason why Jude Bellingham will go to Liverpool, I think, is the same reason why Van Dijk went to Liverpool. Because Van Dijk wanted to start day in and day out, and Van Dijk wanted to be the main man. Okay, Van Dijk would have started day in and day out for City as well, but being the main man, I don't think Jude Bellingham could be the main man. But as Vishnu said, I think there could be a flip side of the story. Jude Bellingham would think, okay, I will compete in such a highly competitive environment. I will learn from Pep Guardiola, who's been a midfielder, a DM in that position as well. I'll learn from the best manager, and then I'll grow. I'll grow to that world class level. If Jude Bellingham can have that attitude, I think he'll come to City. It depends on the player. It depends on the attitude with which he wants to come. Is the thing that will decide whether Jude Bellingham will move to City or Liverpool is Jude Bellingham able to accept time on the bench in return for learning from Pep, in return from learning from De Bruyne, day in and day out. I think, or does he want to start day in and day out at Liverpool? I think that is the only thing that will decide where Jude Bellingham ends up. Jesus says Bellingham will have a good chemistry with Foden and Haaland. So yes, if he comes, definitely he'll have a good chemistry. Vishnu says he's young and Pep can convert him into any shape. Yes, yes, he can. Pep can convert him into any shape, but I don't think that again it's your choice of coming in and starting right away, or it's your choice of coming in and taking time to settle down. And because converting into another shape and stuff takes time, it again depends on Bellingham. But you're right. Pep can actually convert him into any shape. Pep converted right winger like Bernardo, Cam like Bernardo into one of the best box to box players. So he can do it. Vinay says Pep must stay for like 2026. He got four players which he wanted. I think Pep will actually stay until 2026. There are a lot of reasons for it. The main thing is Erling Haaland. In the length of time until which he has signed the contract is almost the same, right? 4 years. So I think Pep will stay for 4 more years. And also the fact that we have bought Calvin Phillips, his contract is also 4 or 5 years. And the fact that Pep is looking to bring in Cole Palmer, he has bought in Julian Alvarez. The thing that Pep has accepted rebuilding a team again. It does not seem like a rebuild, I know, but it's almost a transition into a new era, right? We have Grealish, Haaland, Alvarez potentially. Okay, Foden is there. Mahrez is just going out in 1 year or so. So it's almost a new team, and the fact that Pep has accepted being there to help the team in transition is an indication that he'll stay for 4 years. Otherwise, Pep could have left, right? And another manager would come for the rebuild. That would be preferential for another manager also to bring in the players in his eyes. The reason Pep has bought all of these players is he's staying for 2026, I think. JSK says, by the way, there's a chance Haaland might change his nationality to England because he will never achieve anything at international level with Norway. Plus, he already has English citizenship. But JSK, how much has England achieved in the international, right? How many trophies? I don't know. They have not won any trophies in the recent past, right? How many World Cups, how many Euros? No, nothing. I think in the last 1 or 2 decades, I think, right? So I don't think his chances of becoming absolutely trophy laden when coming after coming to England, it's not a guarantee, and you never know. Norway with the crop of players coming, Odegaard is there right now, Erling Haaland is there. I've seen them play a couple of friendlies in the last weeks and they were good. And by the way, Haaland was a beast. He scored a brace in all of the matches I've seen. So you know, no, I think with the crop of players Norway is getting, I think he has a better chance to win things at Norway than winning things at England, where the manager also plays a style which is not that good, and all of those things. So I think Norway might be a really better bet for him. And also another thing I want to talk to you guys is Erling Haaland special. I mean, yes, we are talking about Erling Haaland, but presence of a tall striker. What do you think about us going to 87th minute, 90th minute with us needing two goals very fast? What would we do? Ping across into the box. That is something we really didn't have, right? In any of the seasons. I think Pep didn't have it in his coaching career at all. Maybe with Lewandowski, but other than that, nothing at Barca. So that would be an absolutely interesting change in the style of play. I would not be surprised if Pep actually changes the style of play a little bit, because I mean, style of play in the sense of not just playing ground passes, not just crossing low crosses into the box, but also he could tell Kevin De Bruyne to lift one over the top, or Kevin De Bruyne to ping crosses into the box. I think that will be a changing style actually this season. I'm very excited to see that. Very excited. Can't wait again for the season to begin. Actually, again, thank you so much, guys, for having joined the show. All of the interaction has been wonderful. Really, it's been fantastic. Thank you so much for the interaction, guys. Jessica says that's why he's bringing Cucurella to make Erling Haaland's gameplay easy. I mean, even if Cucurella doesn't come, I think the crosses will come. But like you said, it will be even more easier for Cucurella. I'm sorry, for Erling Haaland, because Cucurella comes, he goes wide. He goes wide on the left. The fullback has to go with him, stretching the play. Erling Haaland will be one on one with the defender. So that means the defender is gone. I'm actually waiting for the next season to see defenders having nightmares thinking of Erling Haaland. How do I defend one on one against this giant of a man who's technically very good? So again, thank you so much, guys. Hope you had enjoyed the show. Do leave a like if you have enjoyed the show, and also do click on the bell button to get notifications whenever we come out with a new video. Again, thank you guys for the interaction, and take care, guys. Good night and see you all.